programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
Magandang umaga, bayan! It's currently 6 a.m. in the morning and oras na para sa mga nagbabagang balita. We have a special program today dahil tayo magbabalik na ng 1946 to 1986.
Oh, noong 1946, alam mo ba?
Di ba?
Oo. Nakamit nila yung hihilo ng mga kalayaan. Noong July 4, 1946, kung saan ginawa ni Ambassador Paul Nutnut ang bandila ng Amerika. At ang pagtaas ng bandila ng Pilipinas ni Manuel Rojas sa pangatlong at huli na presidente nung under the Commonwealth era.
Ang galing! And also, alam mo ba, na yan din ang start ng the Third Republic. And si Manuel Rojas ang very first Filipino president. And alam mo ba, noong Second World War, kailangan ng Pilipinas na mag-borrow ng $20 million and $10 million from the United States. So, binigyan nila ng karapatan ang United States na kumuha ng lupain and other iba pang natural resources sa Pilipinas para ma-secure natin yung inutang natin na pera. Only the rich Filipino people yung nakinabang dun sa inutang na pera ng Pilipinas. And it resulted to corruption and it characterized Rojas administration, which resulted which nag-cause ng inflation and the worsening economy. And unfortunately, noong April 1948, namatay siya sa puso.
Oo, si dating naging presidente, Rojas. Si Rojas. Pinalitan siya ni Elpidio Quirino. Okay. Tapos, pinagpatuloy ni Quirino yung naiman na gobyerno ni Rojas. Tapos, nung siya na nakaupo, naisagawa niya the Bell Mission Report. Tapos, ano ba? Yung ACCFA and PACSA na-establish din. Tapos naisagawa rin yung Maria Cristina and the Buklaw Downriver Project. Tapos, the Boys Town of the Philippines were established in social welfare. It was great representative of friendship and goodwill. It was unable to enhance international relations, pero korupsyon ang sumira sa kanyang imahe bilang presidente dahil sa paggamit ng $50 million. Ang laki! Lalo na ang $20 million sa kanyang campaign na dapat sa US war surplus property. People thought the administration was not sincere. Dahilan para hindi magtagumpay ang kanyang pag-usap at negosasyon sa Hukbalahap. Yan! Oh, ito pa. Nakakadalawang presidente na tayo May ilan pa. Ngunit bago natin pagpatuloy, mag-break muna tayo. Yes. Para pag-usapan naman ang kaganapan noong kapanahunan ni Marcos Sr.
Hot topic.
Yeah.
Pero party pa rin to ng Third Republic, ha?
Oo, party pa rin. Kaya ito si Charles.
Si Ferdinand Marcos Sr. ang huling presidente para sa Third Republic bago mangyari ang makasaysayang The People Power Revolution. Ngunit ano nga bang mga nagawa ni Marcos noong siya ang naluklok bilang presidente pagkatapos si Diosdado Macapagal? Hi! Yuhu! Prince Charles at ito ang balikan. During his presidency, Marcos Sr. improved the economy through better tax collection, new tax laws, and foreign loans. He also boosted rice production with Miracle Rice. Narito nakilala ang pagbaba ng mga presyo ng bigas. Sounds familiar, right? And irrigation projects. Built major infrastructures like roads, bridges, and schools. Strengthened transportation and anti-crime efforts and hosted the 1966 Manila Summit. But his second term was marked by election, overspending, inflation, corruption, social inequality, and growing unrest that led to student protest and rising communist. Dahil sa pag-upo niya muli sa pwesto, ang magulong Pilipinas ay mas naging magulo. Unang pagbabagong ginawa nito ay palitan ang nakalagay na Constitution of 1935 sa kadahilanang hindi na ito naaayon sa panahon. The changed constitution defects apparently were as follows. First, it was the product of American colonialism and was an imitation of the US Constitution. Second, it gave too much powers to the president to become a dictator. Third, imbalance of powers among the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Its parity amendment was a memento of American imperialism. Fifth, the COMELEC has no adequate powers to prevent election anomalies. Seventh, the GAO, or General Auditing Office, was powerless against corruption. And lastly, it had no provision on local autonomy. In 1969, the Communist Party of the Philippines, called CPP, was founded under the leadership of Jose Maria Sison. To draft a new constitution, the Constitutional Convention was created with elected members and was inaugurated on June 1, 1971. On August 21, 1971, the Plaza Miranda massacre happened during a Liberal Party campaign rally, claiming 8 lives. This led to the suspension of the privilege of writ of habeas corpus by Marcos on September 21 that year. On September 23, 1972, after an alleged assassination attempt against Secretary of Defense Juan Ponce Enrile, President Marcos appeared on the television to announce his proclamation of martial law. The proclamation has been signed since September 21. At ayan ang umpisa ng kapalaran ng mga Pilipino sa ilalim ng rehimeng Marcos. During the Marcos regime, the declaration of martial law led to the arrest and detention of political opponents, media personnel, and academics accused of supporting communists or rebel movements, including Senators Benigno Aquino Jr. and Jose Diokno. President Marcos imposed curfews, banned rallies, and firearms. He also took control of major media outlets and public utilities such as Meralco, PLDT, Nawasa, PNR, and Philippine The Constitutional Convention resumed work but with some members detained, completing the 1973 Constitution on November 29, 1972. Marcos established citizen assemblies to ratify the new constitution, maintain martial law, and postpone elections for a minimum of 7 years in exchange of the majority. During the Marcos regime, land reform began with presidential decrees 2 and 27 in 1970, while martial law was lifted on January 17, 1981, leading to major infrastructure. After winning the 1981 election boycotted by the opposition, Marcos faced rising unrest following Ninoy Aquino's assassination on August 21, 1983, which sparked massive protests. By 1985, worsening instability led Marcos to call a snap election on February 7, 1986, marked by fraud and violence. Despite being declared the winner, widespread protest and civil disobedience led by Corazon Aquino followed, condemning the rigged results, and after that, the rest was history.
Hand washing is a first line of defense against germs. Pero hindi lahat ng sabon pareho. Hand washing with Safeguard helps provide long-lasting protection against germs. Wash hands properly. Stay safe. Safeguard.
From Christmas, alam mo ba, Lai?
Oh.
Na ang sumunod na presidente matapos ang termino ni Quirino ay si Ramon Magsaysay. Na kinalabi ng the man of the masses.
Well,
Yes, and also, I heard na isa siya sa pinakamagaling na presidente ng Pilipinas.
Talagang napag-connect mo pa yun, ah.
Siyempre. Pero hindi dahil Pasko. Ay. Sorry. Pero hindi dahil Pasko kaya siya nahalala, kundi dahil siya ay kilala sa pagiging simple at humble. Minahal siya ng masa dahil dito, syempre pati na rin sa mga nagawa niya nung termino niya. Oh. Katulad ng matagumpay. Katulad ng matagumpay na amnesty program para sa kumbalahap. Binuksan niya rin ang Malacanang for the people. Binuo ang Siapo, the Laurel Langley Agreement, and the Philippine-Japan Reparations Agreement, the Land Tenure Reform Act to address agrarian problem. To address the agrarian problems. With sobrang strong with strong public argument. With strong public support and backing from the U.S. Congress, he passed several key laws, including Republic Act 997, which expanded executive power and allowed better budget management. He also launched a 5-year plan aiming to create 1.7 million jobs. Grabe, ang dami nila tulungan. At dahil din dito, his efforts were supported by local NGOs like CRIS and PRRM and funded by the USAID, including $4.2 million in startup funds and a $42.5 million pledge. Ang
Grabe. Deserve na deserve talaga yung ano. Kahit sa the man of the masses.
Man of the masses.
Sa dami na nagawa rin.
Agree. Correct. Kaya sa kasamaang palad, siya ay namatay noong March 17, 1987. Dahil sa plane crashing. Ito yung nag-trending before. Like, kasagsagan ng ira niya. Tapos, namatay siya with the plane crash. Living his 4 good years na presidente sa Pilipinas.
Kaya pala, no? Dahilan para si Carlos Garcia naman yung umupo.
Na siyang dating presidente, dating vice-presidente ni Ramon Magsaysay. Ayan, change location muna tayo. Medyo dumidilim na kasi.
Kaya nga eh.
Pero anyway, let's just go on with the show.
Okay, ito na yung chika. Hindi tulad ni Magsaysay na minahal ng masa. Si Pangulong Garcia ay kulang sa karisma kaya bumalik ang bansa sa traditional na cultural politics. Kanyang pangunahing programa ay Filipino First Policy. Taray. Na nagbigay ng mas malaking kapangyarihan sa mga Pilipino sa ekonomiya. Dahil dito, tumaas ang manufacturing ng 40.8% at 88% ng bagong investment noong 1960. Taray. Napunta sa mga Pilipino yun
Buti naman.
Gayun man, nakita ito ng mga dayuhang negosyante at ang mga tisoy bilang diskriminasyon. Nagsasagawa rin sila ng austerity programs at nilagdaan ang Bulan Serrano Agreement Ngunit, nadawit pa rin siya sa mga kaso corruption dahil Alay received preferential access to public funds, tax exemptions, and improved privilege. Ito ang naging pagbaksak at pagkatalo ng 1961 eleksyon na pinalitan naman ni...
Wait, bago natin yan banggitin, ang pangalawa sa huling presidente ng the Third Republic. Bakit hindi muna tayo magkwentuhan patungkol sa People's Power Revolution? Do we love it?
Yes,
Yes, I.
Yuhu! Maraming nagtatanong, Kuya Kiel, ano nga ba talaga ang tunay na dahilan ng People Power Revolution noong 1985? Pero, una sa lahat, 1986 nangyari ang People Power Revolution. At saka, pangalawa sa lahat, hindi ako si Kuya Kiel, okay? Ako si James. Kaya, sorry na carried away lang. Pero, kaya, nandito tayo ngayon sa Luneta Park. Wow! Para magkwentuhan. Kaya tara, samahan niyo ako. Unang nangyari ang makasaysayang People Power Revolution ay nung hindi na pumayag ang sambayan ng Pilipino na manalo si Marcos Sr. sa presidency noong 1986 election sa kadahilan ng nanalo na siya for the third time. Isipin niyo yun, third time. At isa sa ginawa ng mga mamamayang Pilipino upang mapababa siya at mapatalsik ay ang mag-rally at sumigaw ng mga karapatan natin dito. Uy, oops! Joke lang! Ipagpapatuloy natin. Ito ay pinangunahan ni Cory Aquino, ang may bahay ni dating presidenteng Benigno Ninoy Aquino. Maraming aspeto kung bakit nais patalsikin ng sambayan ng Pilipino si Marcos Sr. sa pagka-presidente. Iilan lamang dito ay ang korupsyon, ang pag-assassinate kay Ninoy Aquino, ang pang-aabuso, ang krisis sa ekonomiya, ang nakawan sa 1986 election at ang pagkapanalo muli ni Marcos Sr. At ito ang nagsilbing last straws ng sambayan ng Pilipino sa pagtitiis sa kamay ni Marcos Sr.
Actually, nung nabalita siya, sinabi na yung pinamamahalaan ni Artermo Tadi R ay balak na... Artermo Tadi R. Balak niya talaga na atakihin yung mga dito? Mga rebelde. Oo, pero dahil sinusuportahan sila ng mga Pilipino that time, gumawa yung mga Pilipino ng human barricade. At alam mo ba na actually marami tao doon, kaya actually 3 million na tao ang bumuo ng EDSA mula Ortigas hanggang Cubao.
Dami, grabe. Alam mo ba, nung pagsapit ng hapon nung February 24, inalis ng mga rebel na helicopter yung mga sasakyan dito sa may sa may Villamor Air Base. Tapos alam mo ba, isa sa helicopter nagpaputo ng rocket sa Malacanang. Tapos bakit sila tumatawa yung mga katabi natin? Kilala mo sila? Hindi yun sila kalala. Ayun, tapos isa sa yung mga AFP, lumipat na sila sa panig ng mga mamamayan. Tapos marami na ring mga opisyal ng mga militar, yung kumalas na. Yun lang yung kwento.
Yun lang din ang alam namin.
So, ayon sa mga balita, ganyan.
Ayon sa history.
At dito na tayo darating sa huling umaga bago matapos ang revolusyon. Noong ika-Pebrero 25 ng umaga, na-inaugurate si Cory Aquino bilang Pangulo at si Laurel bilang pangalawang Pangulo ng Club Filipino. Matapos ang 1 oras ay nanumpa rin si Marcos sa Malacanang. Ngunit pinutol ng mga rebelde ang broadcast niya sa Channel 9 at 13. At sa pagtatapos, libo-libo ang nagtipon sa Menjola, ngunit hindi sila nakapasok dahil sa mga sundalo. Pinayuhan rin ng White House si Marcos na lumikas at sa bandang 6:00 ng hapon ay dinala ang kanyang pamilya sa Hawaii. Nang umalis si Marcos ay nagdiwang ang mga tao at sinalakay ang Malacanang, habang ang mundo ay natuwa sa tagumpay ng mga Filipino. Dahil sa matagumpay na bayanihan ng mga Filipino, tayo ngayon ay malaya na sa mahigpit na diktator. Tayo ay naglulukso sa mga taong nasa taas natin. Kaya sana ito ay magsilbing aral sa atin upang hindi na muli maulit ang mga nakaraang pagkakamali. Muli, ito si James at samahan niyo ko ulit sa mga susunod pa nating kwentuhan. Paalam!
Ngayong Huwebes.
Emma, wala ka bang magawa kundi sundan ako at agawin lahat ng gusto ko para sa kasal namin?
Wala akong inagaw sa'yo kahit kailan.
Maghaharap-harap muli sila.
Bakit hindi natin gawin minimalist yung gabi?
Walang base. Ayan! Pwede naman pala maging true. Bes, ang ganda, no? Ang sexy.
Walang yakos.
Dito ka sa akin, ha?
Ika-6 na utos.
Kahit na mababa na ang aking estado sa liring, maaari ko bang hingin ng iyong kamay at puso?
Ngayong Lunes.
Ngayon ay panahon na upang magkaharap-harap kaming muli ng mga naiwan ng namayapang reyna ng mga diwata.
Sa gitna ng pinakamadilim na yugto.
Isang malaking handog na ako ang papaslang sa prinsipe ng Sapiro.
Sisibol ang panibagong pag-asa. Encantadia.
So, continuing, yung naputol na information na dapat sasabihin ko kanina, which is yung pangalawang president ng Third Republic. Siya si Diosdado Macapagal. Siya naman, during his term, he promised to open the Philippines economy to foreign trade and investment, yung palitan pa. So, he set up the PIA and allowed currency changes which helped farmers for a short time. Ngunit powerful families sila na naman. Like the Lopez's block, most of his programs, out of 26 na pinapose niyang bill, 3 lang ang nakasan. Masyado raw kasi siyang controlling. Ayon sa Kongreso. Natapos ang termino niya dahil na rin sa eskandalo na yon. And dahilan para magwagi at maupo si Marcos Sr.
Kung saan pinabish ni Balita Charles ang mga nagawa niyang mga nung termino niya.
Yes, and also, tapos na pala tayo sa Third Republic.
Tatapos rin tayo sa Marcos Regime.
Yes, ano pa kaya kulang?
Baka alam ni David.
Alam ni David yan, for sure.
Alam niya yan.
Yes,
The first thing Cory Aquino did was to restore democracy immediately. She ordered the release of political prisoners and restored the writ of habeas corpus in Regions 9 and 12 in Mindanao. She also opened Malacanang to the public once again. Thousands of people who visited the palace were shocked at how the Marcoses lived in luxury for 20 years while the people were suffering. They also saw examples of the extravagant lifestyle of Imelda Marcos. Her 3,000 pairs of custom-made shoes, more than 1,000 gowns, hundreds of perfume bottles, and her oversized bed. Before a new constitution was made, President Aquino issued Proclamation No. 3 in March 1986, creating the Freedom Constitution as a temporary law. She then set up an independent commission to draft a new constitution, which finished its work in October of the same year. After a new voter registration, the people voted in a plebiscite on February 2, 1987, and peacefully approved the new constitution. Among the salient features of the 1987 constitution are the following: a declaration of state policies which pursues freedom from nuclear weapons, upholds the sanctity of family life and protecting the unborn, ensures equality for women, provides for a Filipino-controlled economy, promotes agrarian reform, prohibits political dynasties, and takes measures against graft and corruption. A new Bill of Rights which bans the death penalty and the use of torture, intimidation, or secret detention of state prisoners. The creation of a permanent commission on human rights to safeguard the rights of the people. The establishment of a presidential system of the government, with checks and balances between its 3 branches. The limitation of the president's term to 6 years without re-election, with a ban against appointment of relatives to public office. The president's right to proclaim martial law or suspend the writ of habeas corpus is limited to 60 days, which the Congress, afterwards, may revoke or extend. The establishment of a people elected by Cameral Congress, whose legislative powers are given with built-in specific safeguards. Provision for laws, constitutional amendments, and impeachment cases that may be initiated directly by the people. Provision for the autonomy of local governments and the creation of autonomous regions for the Cordilleras and the Muslim Mindanao.
provision for free education up to high school level. Finally, the government's right to incur new loans is subject to the freedom of information and limitations by Congress and the Monetary Board. Another peaceful and honest voting that the people did was the election of new senators and congressmen on May 11, 1987. President Aquino inherited serious problems from the Marcos era, including a $26 billion foreign debt and economic mismanagement. In 1986, Mrs. Aquino was invited to deliver a speech in the U.S. Congress. The speech dealt on the struggle of the Filipino people against dictatorship and for the restoration of democracy. The members of the U.S. Congress gave her a standing ovation and was named Time Magazine's Women of the Year in 1986. She worked to attract foreign investments and launched the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Act, also known as CARP. Aquino established a revolutionary government and abolished the legislature to restore democracy. She was the refreshment and the reward of the Filipinos after the 2 decades under the Marcoses. Yet, the government faced several coup attempts, natural disasters like the 1990 earthquake and Mount Pinatubo eruption, and even ongoing power shortages. Due to her actions, she became the light and the hope of the Filipinos that they will never experience the hardships and the burdens that they experienced in the past. This is David for Lathala.
And last, after his term, doon naman nagsimula ang Fifth Republic under the 1987 Constitution.
Na ang mga presidente under the Republic are Fidel Ramos, Joseph Estrada, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo,
And lastly, Sir Diego